All right, so hopefully you watched my video talking about intermediate inheritance. So now we're going to go over how to work intermediate inheritance Punnett squares. So I'm going to go over two types. I'm going to go over codominance and I'm going to go over incomplete dominance. That way you know how to work these Punnett squares for your assignment. So let's go ahead and start with codominance. So remember, these are intermediate inheritance. That doesn't mean we have dominant and recessive. We're either going to see both of them or there's going to be a mixture. So for codominance, codominance is when you see both alleles. Okay, so both alleles, okay, and it's both dominant alleles in this case, are fully expressed. Okay, so both dominant alleles are fully expressed. And I know this is kind of zoomed in, so after this, I'll take a picture of this and I'll post this up along with my notes. All right? So when we're talking about blood types is the example we like to use for codominance. We have 4 different blood types. We have type A blood, type B blood, type AB, and type O. So just remember, when we're talking about blood types, we're actually talking about the proteins that are on that blood type. So type A can have proteins and type B can have proteins. Type O is our recessive, so there are no proteins on type O. But because type A and type B are both dominant, you can have type AB blood where both of those proteins are shown. So if we're looking at our genotypes, all of these are here. So these type A, type B, type AB, and type O, those are phenotypes. All of these are our phenotypes. Then that means that everything in this column are our genotypes. So when we're talking about having type A blood, we're going to write that as big I, big A, big I, big A. Okay, so that person would be homozygous dominant for type A blood, or you could be heterozygote, and so you could have big I, big A, little I. Okay, remember little I is our recessive, that's for type O blood. Same thing for type B. You could be big I, big B, big I, big B, homozygous dominant for type B, or you could be big I, big B, little I, which is heterozygous for type B. Type AB blood, you have to have both dominant alleles, big I, big A, big I, big B. For type O blood, that's recessive. You have to have 2 recessive alleles, little I, little I. So let's go ahead and work a problem. So for our first problem, we have a heterozygote type B individual crossing with a type AB. So according to our chart, if you're heterozygous for type B, that means you have to have a little I allele. So I'm going to go ahead and write that person's genotype right here at the side. So he's big I, big B, little I. To be type AB, you have to have both dominant alleles. So this person is big I, big A, big I, big B. So from here, we're going to do our Punnett square just like normal. Okay, so I'm going to put A first just because it's first in the alphabet. So my first box is big I, big A, big I, big B. Second box, big I, big B, big I, big B. Third box, big I, big A, little I. And then fourth box, big I, big B, little I. So if I'm looking at my offspring, I see that I have one offspring that could be type AB blood. I have one offspring that could be type A blood because they have a big A and a little I. Okay, remember that little I is recessive. And I have 2 offspring that could be type B blood. But if you look at their genotypes, one is homozygous dominant and one is heterozygous. All right. So let's go ahead and work on another Punnett square. So now I have somebody who's type AB crossing with a type O blood type. So in order to have type AB, I need to have both dominant alleles, so big I, big A, big I, big B. Type O is recessive. Remember, recessive is my little I, little I. So I'm going to write that right up here at the top. So when I do this cross, okay, I'm going to put my dominant first, big I, big A, little I, big I, big A, little I. big I, big B, little I, and big I, big B, little I. So that means all of their offspring are either type A blood or type B blood. You can't have any type AB offspring or type O offspring in this case. So those are our examples for codominance. Our next example is for incomplete dominance. So incomplete dominance is a blending of the two traits. Okay, so blending of two traits. So for example, okay, we talked about flowers in the other video. Now we could talk about butterflies. So let's say that we have a blue butterfly. Okay, that's going to be BB. Pink butterfly, PP. And if you mix those two together, if you mix blue and pink together, okay, you're going to get a purple, a light purple. So you have BP. So we're going to be blending these traits. Okay, you have 3 different phenotypes in this case. So for our first problem, let's go ahead and cross a blue and a pink. So remember, blue was little b, pink was little p. So when I form my Punnett square and I write out all the offspring, they're all going to be the same. Okay, so I'm going to have 100% purple butterflies. That's going to be my offspring. Okay, 100% purple. So now let's say that I want to cross 2 purple butterflies. Okay, so we said purple was BP. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my first box, little b. Second box, little p. Third box, little p. And fourth box is little p. So for this case, 25% of my offspring will be blue. Okay. 50% will be purple. And then 25% will be pink. All right. So I'll go ahead and post this up on Google Classroom along with this video, and go ahead and work some of the problems to figure out if you can do these Punnett squares successfully. And if you have any questions, let me know. Bye.